Video words thrown in YouTube format to expose the daily vlog of being no one knows. Secret foes, life's pain and woes, rants and thoughts. Daily journal with iPhone and his grabs to show it off. That's easier 3 here. Beard kind of growing out while I didn't tie it up today. Didn't put any products on it. Didn't put any products on it, so I'm doing yard work for somebody. It's my second day. But I was at Dunkin' Donuts, and this gentleman, he walked in. He had like a dozen donuts, 2 coffees or something. I just scoped it, and he gave me like a 5 and a 1. It's $6. Like, it's like one of not, I don't want to say pay for, but he's like, oh, get yourself something. So I tipped the females that I worked at like $5, and this and the other thing, and I bought myself a medium cup of coffee, right, Dunkin', right. And then I go to the car, and I seen this guy walk before. He looked like groggy, this and that. He the way he was walking, he was just like either hurt. He just he wasn't walking like a uniform kind of walk, like strong. He was very weak where he walked, and his sweatpants were sagging. And then after that guy with the donuts and the $6 and I tipped, I walk out of my car, and the other guy that I just saw him walking, he was all groggy, and like not uniform. Like, oh, can I get he's like, you think I could get $1 for something like that? I was like, you want to buy yourself coffee? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'll buy you one. I just happened I had like the last $6 in my pocket, and I thought he was just gonna get like a small medium coffee and be humble. I was just surprised. He's like, he gets like that. I want that pumpkin spice latte. I'm like, oh fuck, that's gonna be like that $4 or $5. It came out to a little over $5, bro. So it's like, I was cool with it. It's like, hey man, get you something what you want. At least like asking for money, getting high or drunk, which is like, I've been there. It's like, I'm not gonna support your habit of destruction, your self-destruction, because I've been through alcohol abuse, even drug addiction, and it's just like putting on a band-aid and you making the scab or the scar even worse, so understand that. And if it's a coffee, like even if that guy, the guy with the donuts, then give me that gesture of kindness, I still would have done that. I do that every once in a while. To anyone that wants food, drink, or coffee, it's like, all right. I mean, I can't do it every day. Like, not even every day. I did that before, a couple times a week, but I can't do it to every person when I drive. But once in a while, it's like, yeah, whatever, man. But anyway, I was just thinking, it's that. Let's say he was getting on drugs or drinking or something like that, and it's that self-abuse, And then I started thinking, I was working at this job as the warehouse job in like 2014 going on 15, and for like a couple weeks I stopped eating meat. The only meat products that I had, it was at lunch. I would eat lunch, and okay, I did eat breakfast in a while, like a Taylor ham, egg, and sandwich. Very light Taylor ham, It had carbs, it had cheese, dairy products, this and the other thing. I would eat that, and I would eat the lunch. I used to get a big salad, and it had a lot of salad, but it did have turkey and cheese. And bread I would eat sometimes. Sometimes I wouldn't even touch the bread. And I would eat soup, and the soup had like no oil, and it was a really good soup. It was really large. And I would fill up on that. And then, I wouldn't eat anything, and then I would come home and I would still drink. That's when I used to drink natty ice, natural ice. I would buy like 2 or 3 tall cans. I wouldn't exercise. I had a gym membership, but I never went to exercise. I just worked in this warehouse job, and it was just, it was frustrating, stressful. It was just annoying. I would come home late. But after a couple weeks, I lost anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds. And I just thought, it was like, I cut out the meat, and I didn't eat what my mom was cooking as well, So I would come home like, around 6:30ish, And then it was there, but it's like I never ate that late at night, and I also stopped eating her cooking, which, she always had meat, unless once in a while she cooks fish or something like that, And it's just, I started thinking about the products we eat, like especially meat. Like how good is, and I started thinking, how good is a pork chop nonetheless? The pork chops that I like to make, the reason why I like them was, the breading I used. The breading, and I would put sage in it. The breading. Yeah, it was the breading, and also it was the Italian seasoning kind. And also I would throw in sage, and it was just so delicious. Like the sage, I would let it sit on the stove for like 10, 15 minutes minimum, and it was just, it was the best pork chop I ever had, I thought. I also did rice with that, and sometimes I put lemon on top of it. And it was great, but the sage just did it. It has so much flavor. And I started thinking, I did the same kind of pork chops. Maybe it was a poorer quality, but it didn't look bad. And I didn't encrust it with the breading. And even though I put like herbs later on, it just wasn't that good. It was juicy, but it tasted like a filler. That's why I think a lot of meat products. And if you think about a burger, I have an uncle. I still have these burgers at home, and they just they're like filler. They're tasteless. A lot of burgers that I found in the stores, I didn't like them, you know. And if I did, it was I put either all the additives, this and the other thing, ketchup, the sauces, and let me just be honest. Do I really like the Big Mac for the Big Mac, or do I like the Big Mac for the sauce? It's all the additives, which is fructose corn syrup, sugar, sweets, this and the other thing. So if you look at traditionally the taste of the meat, you put some salt on it to preserve it, this and the other thing, but it's just really not flavorful to me. That soup that I used to eat back in the day, it was actually very tasteful. It was actually tasteful, and it was it was a bit colder, so even if it wasn't cold, it was just very flavorful. Herbs and spices, they are the taste of life. Also thought, how people just act foul on one another, derogatory terms. It might give you a satisfaction to call somebody a derogatory term. You're angry, you're upset, this and the other thing, but to call somebody a derogatory term, and I fell victim to a lot of that at times. But at the end of the day, I just feel regret. That's not who I want to be. There's not much flavor in it. It is a form of abuse. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, sentient beings, meat products, it just doesn't taste all that great. It doesn't taste all that well. Unless you maybe spice it up with a sense of humor, this and the other thing, like you're gonna degrade somebody. But still, at the end, you make fun of somebody, you put them down low. But you're using certain terms, and you're going after something just to hurt somebody nonetheless. Unless you speak the truth about their personality, how abusive they are, how they wronged you, this and that, and you just want to stay away from them. You just want to have your own life, this and the other thing. So, also, as far as animal products, it's a cow, it's a chicken, it's a pig, an actual animal, the pork. That's a part of the pig. It's a sentient being that eventually over time, humans, us, we've grown to have an enclosure to enclosure them, so they could procreate for our own benefit. 'Cause before that, they were just running around in the wild, and eventually, what they did, they made that species to be exactly what it is right now. But yeah, it's just it is a form of abuse. Even to me, eating meat products, it's I tried over and over again, but I succumb. I start drinking. I fall into my ways, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy pork cutlets, this and the other thing, or fried chicken or something like that every once in a while. You just have a craving, but at the end of it, you think about fried chicken. It's fried, so it's natural, has a better taste. You ever had chicken that's rotisserie chicken? That's one of the reasons I stay away from Boston Market. I went in there once. I just looked at it. I can't have that. I know I don't like that stuff. I don't like a chicken that's unless you cook it and you season it with a lot of stuff like that, then it tastes. But it's a lot of stuff just not that fucking delicious, man. And you go to the conversation, everything tastes like chicken. Yeah, if you look at the fundamental taste of the meat, it's really not that great. It doesn't have any lemon. It doesn't have any herbs. It doesn't have any spices. There's no Cajun in it. There's no paprika. You could do that to rice and a bunch of other products that I haven't discovered. You could use chickpeas, rice. You can make curry sauce. There's plants, vegetables, herbs, spices. You can combine, and you can actually live a little bit better. So I just thought about the abuse, how it's all connected. Whether you abuse someone physically, mentally, whether you abuse yourself with substance abuse, or abuse yourself with the food and products we eat. It is all connected, and eventually it backfires upon you. But it felt good. And it didn't feel good, like, to buy that guy coffee. I mean, a lot. Pour me some but it was alright. I just had a conversation with him, minimal conversation about his name, this and the other thing, And yeah, it just yeah, I try to stay away from abuse. I'm not an abusive person, and I really don't want to abuse myself. Even in small or large scales. But right now I'm about to go to work, and a gig rather, and yeah, I'm gonna do some yard work, and it's not really physical abuse. And I'm not, maybe I should just end the video, but I had jobs where I like 12, 13-hour days of, like, hard moving labor, and it felt like I was abusing my body, but I recovered. But I'll take that over everything else. Even that I should probably work on.